Well, hello everyone and welcome to Invictus Racing League. Tonight, our PS4 F3 League brings you to the Shanghai International Circuit, home of the Chinese Grand Prix. I'm Ryan, your host as always, and alongside me tonight in the commentary box is the man himself, our reigning PS4 F2 Drivers' Champion, Jakob. Now, Jakob, we didn't get the chance to see you on track this week, unfortunately, in PS4 F1, but how do you find the circuit?
A bit of mixed feelings, to be honest. The big straight, obviously, with lots of overtaking opportunities, which will definitely be interesting for tonight, and then some difficult sector in the sector 2, very technical, and the long sweeping right-hand turn of turn 1. So, kind of a tricky circuit with overtaking opportunities, which gives a good mix of everything we like. So, should be an exciting race for tonight.
Yeah, it should be full of action. 5.5 kilometres long, this track, and it obviously features some of the most, well, to tell you the truth, demanding corner sequences on the F1 calendar, arguably. So, 28 laps. Strategies maybe a little bit tricky. Drivers will be consuming just over 1.7 laps of fuel in their car per lap, so they'll be on full throttle for only about 54% of that lap, despite, like you said, Jakob, one of the DRS rates being as long as 1400 metres, so that will be your biggest overtaking opportunity for this evening, down into turn 15. Into turn 14. Pole position will actually start you on the left hand side, which is the outside tonight, and a short run, only 267 metres from pole down to turn 1. Obviously we've got 2 DRS zones, so overtaking opportunities on the back straight and obviously the home straight are more than likely going to be the best places to do so. 16 corners, 9 to the right, 7 to the left, obviously clockwise circuit. Tyres will be under some severe strain, and like we said, making the driver's choice of strategy pretty tricky. The week so far at Invictus Racing League has seen a mixture of dry and wet races, as well as a bit of a mix-up in qualifying, so it'll be interesting to see what the F3 League for PlayStation will have for us here tonight. And just as the drivers are looking like they're getting ready to go,
yeah, this will definitely be a track that will show the drivers complete skill with both the aerodynamics and the downforce levels. Some may be low downforce, others may risk it for the extra downforce in the sector 2, and obviously rain quite likely to either be in qualifying or the race. So just like the Netherlands, Zandvoort last week, lots of opportunities for great racing.
So just waiting for a driver to pick their car, guys. Racing will be getting underway just shortly. I'm sure the guys are itching to get going. Bear in mind the week's racing isn't over after tonight. Make sure that you tune back in tomorrow night from 8 o'clock on the Invictus Racing League's YouTube channel for the Performance League. That is hosted by Milk and Tim, so we'll discuss next week at the end of the stream. But looking forward to tonight, Jakob. We've obviously got our main man, RNJ, in that AlphaTauri. He's on a bit of a hot streak at the minute. 3 races so far, 3 podiums for the man, and he's, like we said, on an even bigger streak of 2 wins in a row, so I'm sure he'll be looking to extend that tonight, hopefully. But not only that, we do have the man, the myth, the legend back in after serving a race ban last week in Zandvoort, Simon Palmer, jumping back into that Alfa Romeo alongside his teammate Luke Bailey, so I'm sure that they will be looking to claw some points back towards constructors.
Yeah, definitely. Alfa Romeo haven't had the best of season so far, only having 7 points so far, all the way down in 9th in the constructors. They have about 39 points to the AlphaTauri guys, and the lead currently in the constructors, with R&J picking up 41 points, 20 points in the lead of second place Delange in the Drivers' Championship. So a huge gap already forming after three rounds. So maybe Delange will look to close that gap up, but just saying that R&J will definitely be looking to do the three-peat.
Yeah, obviously Aaron does have quite a convincing lead, but like you were saying, Jacob, with Delaney in second, it's actually down to 5th place, which is Keza. From second to 5th is only separated by 3 points, so it is still all to play for, to be honest. And again, we'll be keeping an eye on all the drivers tonight, because to tell you the truth, as we've been saying so far this season, it's a very, very tight-knit grid, and it genuinely, each and every week, although Aaron has been dominating, it could really be anybody's.
Yeah, and as we saw last week, our new guy Hailstone got the podium and was actually looking to finish, almost fighting R&J for the win, but unfortunately spun a couple of laps before the end, and he got the 10 points for third last week, and 7th in the championship for Hailstone. Interesting to see what he will bring to the table this round. Looked to be very fast last week round, and yeah, maybe he'll be the one challenging R&J, who knows.
Just as the drivers are getting ready to load into the lobby, we'll get our first little look to see what China's weather has brought us for this evening. So, does look a little cloudy, Jacob. Doesn't look as if there's any rain on the track at the minute, but we'll wait for the weather report to come in to see if we are expecting any rain during qualifying. And again, for the race, weather confirmation has just come in by the looks of it. As we're talking about it, it is dry both sessions, so I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be a real test of all our drivers' pace out there, and see who's putting the practice through the week.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of drivers practicing hard to pick up the couple of tenths. They're behind R&J at the moment. R&J definitely the man on top, as we said earlier. Now the Ferraris are already coming out. Maybe they'll be looking to get a couple of runs in, maybe on the mediums to start.
A driver that I think we're still yet to see the best of, to be honest, Jacob. The first man that's out on track. He's in the Renault. He's alongside Adri. We've seen Adri racing alright so far this season, but Beck 9000 found himself towards the front a couple of times, but due to time penalties and unfortunate incidents, hasn't really managed to convert as much as he probably would have liked. He's immediately out on the soft, so he's not wasting any time. Best position
only
for Beck,
a
I believe,
handful of drivers
fourth
on the medium tyres.
Yep. Now, our championship leader, although he hasn't left the pitch just yet, does have those medium tyres locked and loaded. Drivers that have taken to the track are Steel B and Reshka, just looking to potentially test the water. Discuss strategy just shortly, guys, as Beck is making his way down that back straight. Best overtaking opportunity arguably on the track. It's just about to come round the final corner. Jacob, if you want to do his honour and take us on the first flying lap for tonight. Actually,
Yep,
it
as
has
it actually
just
looks like Beck
invalidated.
has invalidated this current lap, so
We'll jump on board with Simon Palmer instead, if you want to take us round that one.
yeah, Simon now activating the DRS in the start-finish straight, crossing the finish line and coming all the way to the left into turn 1. A couple of different lines here, actually. You can either go wide or stay very close to the inside apex. Simon doing an in-between and then locks the left front wheel there. Got a decent exit all the way up in 4th gear already, short shifting a lot, which will actually help out of that corner. Very easy to lose the back end. Now breaking up the 100-meter board, going very right on the on the entry, then exit very nice in the power. Looks to be in control of the car, not having a lot of understeer, as we've seen with other drivers coming into the fast right-hand corner, actually locking the front right. A bit unusual to lock your front right there. keeping on going, coming at the end of sector 2 onto turn 11. Very tricky corner and very tricky section right here. Breaking up the 100-meter board, just cutting the apex there now, and the exit again. This is about bravery, going as early as possible on the power, but still maintaining the back end of the car, coming onto the very long straight, one of the longest straights on the calendar. Activating the DRS, hitting 330 kilometers an hour, braking just before the 100-meter board. Very, very big braking point all the way down in first gear. A bit struggling, a bit on the exit there, not maintaining as good of a mate. Maybe that will be an invalidation, I'm not sure. No, actually not. 132.0, so a decent banker for Simon, who missed last week because of a race ban, so he'll definitely be looking to pick up the points he lost from last week.
Yeah, it's good to see Simon back on track, and again, looks as if he has committed to turning off the assist. A couple of little lockups in there, but I'm sure he'll be relatively happy just to get a banker under his belt. Very, very easy to invalidate around this track, as his teammate Luke Bailey actually now jumps up just in behind him. I say just, he's only the third man to complete a time. He's 7 tenths back, and Steel B goes and takes that position from him on the mediums with a 32.5.
Nick all the way down in 7th, 32.9. He must have messed up somewhere. That won't even. Nick would definitely be looking to gain a couple of seconds even on that time.
Humberstone and his Williams managed to jump himself provisionally onto the front row alongside Wojtek. We're on board with Matty in the McLaren just now on those soft tyres. He's on his first flying lap, hooks up the final corner perfectly, and it's provisional pole. He beats him by just over a tenth. Not a bad lap at all.
No, definitely not. And Matty has been showing great potential in this the 3 rounds so far, having been fighting for podiums and whatnot in the first 3 rounds. So he'll definitely be looking to maybe get a bit further up from the qualifying, as that seems to be his struggling point for this season. His race pace is definitely there, but qualifying seems to be a couple of tenths off.
Keza and Wojtek continue to have a great time in qualifying. Keza now up to provisional pole, a 30.3. Surprised not to see them utilise the toe down the back straight there, as the two have managed to work together beautifully so far this season. But just have a little look to see who else is on a flying lap. So it looks like the Red Bull of Delaney. Don't know if he's coming round to the pits. He is. Jump on board with another man. Reschke yet to set a time despite already having 2 laps on those medium tyres. Doesn't look as if he's going full chap, so looks as if he hasn't managed to do what he potentially wanted to, and that's get onto that preferred strategy.
And Aaron out again on the medium tyres, so he definitely don't want to start on the soft tyres. The best strategy here obviously being the medium to hards for the one stop, otherwise it will be very, very difficult to go from soft to hards. I don't believe it's possible actually, but Aaron seems to be wanting to start on the mediums, which definitely the better tyres to start on, as the softs will die out in just over 2 laps.
It's a very, very tight one, Jacob. Mediums to hards is very, very slightly faster than softs to hards, roughly 3 seconds across the full race distance. Obviously, mediums to hards might drop you into a bit of traffic for those that pit early. Softs would actually be about 75% worn if you make it to lap 7, so taking them onto the hards and all the way to the end is a bit of a task, but it can be done, and it's been done multiple times already this week. We've seen a couple of race winners pull that strategy off. So in qualifying, as we're actually on board with Nick J, he's done a Lewis Hamilton into the pit lane. He's lucky the gravel trap's not there. Surprised that he's managed to keep all 4 wheels on the car. I'm sure he'll watch that one back on stream and wish I wasn't watching. We'll jump on board with Colin, another driver that's opted to have a little look in on the medium tyres, yet to set a time, but he's just starting the flying lap. We're on the T-Cam, we'll jump on board and we'll ride out a full lap in the Mercedes. Very, very wide line there for Colin. It's going to open turn 3 right up for him, mind you. So he gets onto the power nice and easy out of turn 4. Turn 5, still flat out, barely even a turn. Into the hairpin of turn 6. Doesn't take any curb, but kisses the apex beautifully. Manages to get onto the power again, nice and early. All the way over to the right hand side. Back end out completely. That's going to compromise at least half a second off by the looks of it, Jacob. So not the greatest start to the session for the man in the Merc.
No, I was going to say if he sped up a bit, he would be able to get a tow from the Williams on his outlap on the long straight, which definitely will gain you a couple of tenths if you manage to do it right.
Well, he's keeping the boot in it nonetheless. Williams doesn't want to give him a tow. He's making sure his tyres are nice and warm, but does decide to now back off. Don't know if Colin's going to turn everything back up to 11 and go for another run on the same set of tyres. Doesn't look as if he has any fuel issues, so like we said, it is going to be the preferred tyre for the guys to be starting on. But again, track position is pretty key as Colin does line up for another lap. We'll jump back on board with him just shortly. Strange tactic from Gareth Hall. He's done this the past couple of weeks where he sits in the pits until late in the session, but hasn't found much success.
One-shot qualifying.
Yeah, he just doesn't get on well with it at all. I'm surprised to see Gareth do it week after week and not get the results to back it up.
Yeah, and Aaron all the way down in 8th place on the medium tyres. DeLange actually being about 2 tenths quicker, so this will probably force Aaron J to a different strategy, qualifying on the soft tyre.
Now, we've only got 3 drivers in the 30s at the minute. Humblestone just outside that, but Simon Palmer's a further second back and still within the top 5. So, a lot of guys not getting on terribly great tonight at all.
No, as this is one of the longer circuits, so the delta difference will be bigger than tracks like Zandvoort in Austria, where only the hundredths play the difference, and here it's the high couple of tenths, half a second that will be the difference between a couple of drivers if they manage to make the lap.
Back on board with Colin to see if he can now complete a fast lap on these medium tyres. He is going to come round and complete. He's also going to run wide. He's let off the throttle big enough to avoid any invalidations. It's not enough to improve. It's a 33.1 for Colin, down in 11th, and that's where you would be if you got a free choice on tyres anyway. It looks as if we've got a car stationary at the end of sector 1. One of the Williams struggling a little bit to get moving. No yellow flags in the session, but yeah, just to go back to strategy, Jacob, like we said, in qualifying, mediums are 1.3 seconds a lap slower than the soft, so with the likes of Delaney on a 32.2, even with 1.3 seconds, he's not going to be enough on the softs to be challenging for pole from Keza. But 2 stops feasible. You're about 6 seconds slower again. Like we said, pit window from the softs would be open from laps 5 to 7. Pit window on the mediums open from 11 to 14. 28 laps tonight, but yeah, it's a very, very tough one with the clockwise circuit. Front left tyre gets up to some severe heat and wears out pretty quickly. So it's pretty much every driver other than Colin who's making his way back around. Reska's managed to set a lap on a set of soft tyres. It's a 30.6, it's enough to take 5th.
And now Beck going for the medium run. Look to be gaining a tow from Reska on the little straight, all down into turn 6. But yeah, as he went wide, and that's his Laban tyres gone.
Still quite a few drivers without a time tonight. a lot of guys obviously want to start on those mediums. Jim Naguna out in his offs, purple sector 1. Jacob will stay on board with the Williams and see what Jim can do for us. Quite a big bit of understeer there now through the double left-hander.
Gets an high exit there.
Very kind to that gearbox on the downshifts. Gets back up them nicely to make sure that he doesn't lose any traction. He's already in 5th before he's even straightened the wheel. 7th as he approaches the DRS zone. Down onto the back straight. No lap delta for him to try and beat from his zone, but it's looking pretty neat and tidy so far, Jacob. Currently sat last on the timing sheets without a time. See if he can hook up the final corner. He'll just be looking to set a
decent lap. Looks to be a good exit of the last corner.
It's enough to put him in top 6. He's into the 30s. And again, not much separating that from second backwards.
And now Wojtek in 4th place on his lap, 2.5 tenths up after the 2 first sectors. He'll be looking to challenge his teammate in the Ferrari, Ikesa, for the pole position at the moment. Looks to the Ferraris to have a lot of pace with the Ferrari engine.
I'd love to see these guys convert their good qualifying run into a bigger race run than they have been in previous weeks.
Yeah, this has been their struggle for so far this season, qualifying up in the top 5 and then falling a bit down the race with a couple of mistakes, but 30.008 provisional pole by almost 3 tenths down to his teammate, half a second to P3. Incredible lap from Wojtek there.
Yeah, it certainly is. Ferrari only 10 points adrift from that of Alpha Tauri in the Constructors' Championship. Alpha Tauri actually having pretty good qualifying runs himself, not as competitive as what Ferrari look to be this week. Currently locking out the front row, it's all red. We're on board with Craig at the minute. Red Bull a further 7 points back from the boys in red. Craig hooking up probably the best final corner that we've seen so far, and it's the best medium lap we've seen so far, Jacob. It's a 31.6, and arguably that's enough for the front row if he did put on a set of those soft tyres. But with time left in the session, that's going to do it for Craig. I'm sure he'll be looking to try and keep himself within that top 10, start on that slightly faster strategy. Not a bad lap at all.
Yeah, from the medium runners and the guys not setting a time yet, he'll maybe be looking to be about P10, P11 at the end of the session. So maybe looking for the free tyre option.
We'll have a look down and see who's on a lap for us now. Everybody will be more or less coming round to start a flying laps. Nick J. Thompson, I hope he's got enough fuel because he's invalidated this run, but he's still going for it on the mediums. Gareth Hall still not wanting to leave the pits.
Very strange from Gareth there. Quite unusual, I must say.
We've actually got Luke Bailey going purple in Sector 1. Jacob, I'm going to stay on board with the Alfa Romeo for this lap. I think that's the only driver I've actually seen take the left-hander of turn 7 completely flat. So, bit of a lock-up going into 9, running a bit wider than you would like before cutting across turn 10. So makes his way to turn 11, spotting that brake board at 100 metres. Hooks the corner up perfectly, taking a little bit of grass and scrubbing a little bit of time off, so we know how close the grid is. These fractions can be everything. Onto the DRS straight now as Wojtek's unfortunately disconnected from the session. Not sure if anybody's going to be able to challenge him just yet. Though Luke Bailey is up, not sure if it's going to be enough to claim that off pole. Sends it into the final corner, maybe not carrying as much speed as he would have liked. Not going to be an improvement. He's barely, what was that, 0.02 of a second he's managed to clock.
Yeah, not a lot, but stays P4 at the moment. Reschke now 700s up, so he'll definitely be looking to be around Luke Bailey. Very, very close in the delta at the moment, as he will look to be hooking up the last corner.
Well, they have been all season so far. We're in round 4 here in
he
China.
He did hook up the last corner, and that
he's done
and
it.
he still goes P3.
Yep, he's done well.
He definitely lost a 10.2 up the last corner there.
Colin's next to come across the line. It's going to be enough for P8 for Colin. Sir Williams of Humberstone currently sat in 7th as he rounds the final corner and makes his sprint towards the start-finish line. It's 5th for Humberstone. We've got Simon Palmer. Actually went purple in sector 2, and I don't know if he got a bit out of shape, but he's turned everything down and he's going slow. And it looks to me as if that is going to conclude qualifying for the evening, Jakob. So, a couple of drivers without times. I don't know if that's maybe tactical. They'll get free tyre choice. We know that in the new game you don't get an option of a set of hards in qualifying anymore. So, we did see it on Monday with a couple of the quicker guys in F1 on PlayStation take those hards and jump onto a set of mediums. But yeah, that's maybe
very
the
interestingly, our top 2 in the championship are 13th and 15th respectively, so they'll definitely be looking to do some overtaking in this race, and a bit of a surprise maybe, Humberstone all the way up in 5th, having scored 2 points so far this season, so he'll definitely be looking to capitalize from his qualifying today.
Now, I think we might be in for a bit of a surprise tonight, Jakob. So the session's starting to brighten up towards the end of qualifying. Hopefully the sun is splitting the trees for the race as well. We have had confirmation that it is going to be dry for the full race, so yeah, pretty good turnout from Wojtek and Keza in the Ferrari, both with a second place each to their name, but just not managed to breach the consistency that they've needed to challenge the likes of Aaron and Delaney out the front. Hopefully we can get Wojtek back into the session. I don't know if you've seen him join back, Jakob, but here is your qualifying classification. Sorry, Wojtek takes pole with a 30 flat, and Keza locks out the front row. 2 Ferraris up there with a 30.3, almost 3/10 back from his teammate. Reschke will take 3rd. It's a full McLaren second row as well, with Matty in 4th, a 30.5, Humberstone in 5th, Luke Bailey in 6th, Jim Nagoon in 7th, Colin in 8th. Real good time from Craig on the mediums in that Red Bull. Got Beck 9,000 in 10th position, Nick J. Thompson in 11th, Simon Palmer in 12th, Delaney in 13th, Steele B in 14th, Aaron J, your championship leader, all the way down in 15th, and the 2 drivers unfortunately unable to set a time. Not that one of them even wanted to. We've got Gareth Hall in his Mercedes and Adjulok Doc in the Renault. So said, the 2 drivers that didn't set a time, I wouldn't be surprised to see them start on the hard tyres, Jakob. Everybody else outside the top 10, I'd be surprised to see them start on anything other than a set of mediums or hards. And
yeah, maybe not such a disadvantage to start outside the top 10 around this track, as you will gain back a couple of tenths or seconds with your strategy and fresh tyres compared to the soft runners in the top 10.
You actually find that at the end of the formation lap, those that have set their qualifying times on a set of soft tyres will actually be coming back to the grid with about 16-17% worn tyres. So they really don't last long at all. Like we said, that front left, especially getting up to some serious heat, it is very, very difficult to extend that first stint any longer than sort of 6 laps. 6 laps being the prime to come in and get yourself onto a set of hards to try and take them to the end. But those that do try and squeeze out the extra lap could actually see their times dip by over 2 seconds. So really compromising the strategy. But it's not as easy on the flip side either. Even onto those hard tyres, Jakob, you could actually see, even pitting from lap 6 onto a set of softs, you could actually see them hard tyres still be over 70% worn towards the end.
Yeah, so they'll be going to the puncture territory at the end. If you're not careful and watching the tires, and maybe not trying to push each and every lap. But as a driver myself, that is very hard to not give it your all every single lap. But yeah, so they have to be careful on the tires around this track if they go for the soft hards, as they probably most of them will. But maybe we'll see a couple of guys doing the two-stopper, which can be beneficial if we see a virtual safety car or a safety car at some point in the race.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Those that you tend to find that go for the aggressive strategy, tonight obviously being the soft hard, tend to run an aggressive setup. Their one lap pace is usually a bit better than those that are planning to look after the rubber a bit better. So yeah, it's going to be a tough first stint for these guys in the top, well, what is it, top 7? Because from 8th backwards, everybody's going to be on different tyres. So just bring up the tyre detail for you now so you can see who is running what. It's actually the top 8 that are on the softs, right back from Wojtek to Colin. Craig and Beck managing to set their qualifying laps on the mediums and get themselves just in front of those that now do have free tyre choice. Nick J. Thompson opted for the mediums. Simon Palmer trying to be clever, he's on the set of hards. Delany, Steel B and Aaron, your championship leader, on mediums. And as we expected, Jakob, Gareth Hall and Andrew Lockdock both on a set of hards.
Yeah, nothing new there. They really love that hard tire and going very far into the race and then going for softs at the very end, as we've seen a couple of times even for both of them. So not unusual from their side.
Formation lap underway. Our grid is pretty spread out. I'm unsure why there is such a big gap from 12th backwards, but deciding to have their own formation lap. Surprised Simon doesn't want to go a bit quicker, because those hards might not get up to temperature quite as quick as what those of the softs will.
No, the stuff will even be up to temperature where you just driving. Normally you don't really have to swerve from side to side to heat up the tires. You have to do that on a bit on the mediums and a lot on the hards for you to hit the optimal temperature on the hards. And if you don't do that, you'll definitely be lacking grip, as you will do by just being on the hards, but not having temperature in the hards will definitely be a disadvantage.
Andrew Lockdock actually having a bit of a formation lap on his own as well, as they now make their way around to the start finish line and take their respective grid slots. Sun is splitting the trees here at the Shanghai International Circuit. I'm sure the guys will be looking forward to this one. The good thing, Ferrari on the front row, they'll be able to work together and try and cover off all the dive bombs into turn 1. The final car of Andrew Lockdock slots into his grid position for the Shanghai Grand Prix. Wait for the lights. It's 3, 4, 5, and they're out. Weren't on for very long at all. It's an okay start from Wojtek. There's a Red Bull peeling out from the middle already. Both Ferraris off to a great start. McLaren's managing to keep 3rd and 4th as well. Everybody looking to get through relatively unscathed at the minute. We've got a few cars further back, 3 a breadth, and there's a few position movements for 4th. It's Matty that's actually dropped down now. Humberstone managing to squeeze his way up now into 4th position. The Ferraris are already looking to swap positions, as Kezer's now up into 1st.
And Luke and Colin going side by side. Luke Bailey getting a bit of Colin at the moment. But Humberstone in 4th place. I was on board with him. He was going around the outside of the turn 1. Very impressive overtaking, very brave to do on lap 1. And very easy to pick up your front end plate damage, and unfortunately for him, he avoided it, and so did Matty.
A few cars already peeling to the inside, just trying to cover off anybody making some early moves with those position gains. Beck and Craig have swapped positions just slightly. Adrian Lockdock already up from the back of the grid. He's in 13th, Jacob. It's an absolutely fantastic start for the Red Bull. Jim the Gunner's also making moves on, calling both Ferraris well out in front now. We'll jump back and see what's going on a little bit further down the field.
Yeah, Adrian Lockdock just really loves those hard tyres and really impresses us every single time he's on them.
Keza, current leader after lap 1. Wojtek hot on his heels, only 4/10. Resker's managed to close up. The gap was almost at a second. It's now just under 7/10. So everything starts to jump about. The back of the grid started to move slightly. Nick J. Thompson and Alpha Tauri having another mare week after week, unfortunately. Really not enjoying himself so far this season. He's in the pits, he's down in 17th, and it's a set of hards that I doubt will make it to the end, Jacob.
Yeah, he'll definitely have to look after those tyres, maybe even pit for softs at the end, but just as we've said, the couple of the rounds ahead of this run, he will definitely be looking for a safety car, which maybe appear with all the drivers in the top 12 even being inside the top, they're second of each other. Matty just being outside, but getting a good exit out of turn 11, I believe, and going inside the second again. So we have a train of, I believe, 11 cars.
It's going to be very difficult once DRS opens, especially with everybody driving this close to each other. It's R&J that's trying to make a charge onto Craig, but equally Craig's trying to make a charge back onto Beck. It's probably Beck that's going to be the first one to make the move. Colin falling backwards on those softs already. Beck wasting no time. He's up in the Renault, needs to be careful. Luke Bailey and Matty now changing positions for 5th and 6th. Are still running side by side in the final corner. Luke Bailey's managed to get the move done. Keep it within track limits as well. Some good racing so far, Jacob.
Yeah, Luke Bailey hanging onto the outside, and Matty just kind of not fighting the position too hard, giving him the position, knowing what can happen into that corner as we've seen in F1 earlier on this week. Yeah, but nice fighting, and Luke Bailey going ahead of Matty. Matty lost 2 positions in the first 3 laps of the race.
Ferrari now bridging a little bit of a gap, 1.6 seconds ahead of Reska in his McLaren, but Reska's also got a little bit of a buffer back to Humberstone. Matty on screen getting a little bit out of shape. Jim the Gunner says thank you very much, I'll slot in and I'll take 6.
Yeah, now Beck coming up to the back of Matty on the medium tyres, so he's got a very good start and all the way up fighting the soft runners already.
Yeah, as we expect, you see the times start to drop towards the end of lap 3, and it's lap 4 where it really starts to hurt. Drivers start thinking about undercuts from lap 5, but then remember how difficult that final stint's going to be when you get onto a set of hards, so definitely not an easy task. Everybody trying to get the slipstream. So we jump on board with your championship leader. He's got a cracking battle going on in front of him. Craig and Colin having a bit of a drag race. Aaron's going to think about joining them, but he lets off the throttle just a little bit early as we watch the two go side by side in front. Colin and Craig just coming together a little bit, banging wheels, and that's actually going to allow Aaron to come side by side with Colin. He's going to take another position straight onto the back of the Red Bull now.
Yeah, brave move from Aaron J. As we saw last lap, I believe it was Luke Bailey going around the outside of Matty there, so very brave from the guys going around the outside there. Very difficult to go side by side, so it looks to be the guy on the inside not fighting the position too hard, knowing, as I said just before, what can happen, and obviously avoiding damage, which is the main thing.
Sector 1 yellow flags. It's Simon Palmer, unfortunately. I hope he's not got terminal damage and he is able to continue. It's a rough one, but it looks as if Reska's maybe gotten a little bit out of shape somewhere. 2.1, just over 2 seconds further back now from the Ferraris out front. But look at Wojtek all over the back of Keza now for the lead. The two Ferraris, I think, quite happily going to work together for this one. Make sure that they convert the good qualifying session, as we were saying, Jacob, into potentially a 1-2. Not to jinx them too early, but
as
really
we have done a couple of times this season.
Yeah, want to see the Ferraris
really
do well at some point.
Do well, yeah. They really deserve a podium or a victory. But yeah, look to be bridging the gap a bit to Reshka. A couple of tenths a lap. Reshka now holding on quite steadily on around the 2-second mark, having Humberstone all over the back on the DRS. So Humberstone will have a very easy staying behind Reshka with the DRS.
Back up again, and it's Matty that's actually dove into the pits very early. Back up to 7th, and Craig trying to stay with him in 8th. The medium boys now coming through, the soft guys starting to pit. Back out the front, Wojtek and Keza still only 3 tenths separate. Humberstone pressing right up to the back of Reshka now, just over half a second. The closest battle on track is actually this of Aaron and Craig, the Alpha Tauri in the sister car to that Red Bull. Just giving him a little look in the mirror, saying, come on Craig, get a move on. Steel B just under 2 seconds further back, but Andrew Lockdock on those hards, managing to work his way through the field pretty nicely, just as his teammate is a few positions further up.
Yeah, definitely going back to Aaron J there, he's looked to be very patient around this time, having been a couple of laps behind Craig, but he knows that it's no rush at the moment. He still has 23 laps or 22 laps or whatever to go, and he's on the preferred strategy at the moment, so he knows he doesn't really have to rush, being third of the medium tire runners at the moment, only a couple of seconds behind Beck 9000.
I'm not sure if the Ferraris are trying to work together a little bit, with Keza not wanting to use energy down the straight and pulling to the inside to potentially let Wojtek through. Keza's decided to pit. Wojtek's been hung out on his own, and Reshka, after the two of them battling a little bit out front, actually managed to close up by half a second, but again Humberstone all onto the back. A few drivers into the pits now. Jim the Gooner also coming in off his set of softs, and a few drivers looking to extend just that little bit further. Beck now 4 seconds further adrift from those guys that did opt for the more aggressive strategy. So
yeah, a couple of guys pitting a lap or two earlier than what we initially expected, but that could definitely work out, and they might be looking to do the undercut on the drivers ahead, as that will definitely be an advantage, as it will be very difficult to overtake when you're in a long DRS train and everybody having the DRS in each other.
Aaron still trying to chase down Craig, and a bit further up we've got Luke Bailey and Humberstone coming pretty close as well. Chasing down Reshka in that McLaren, doing well to hold off, but again still falling that bit further back from the Ferraris.
Yeah, interesting. It will be interesting to see if Wojtek will go into the pit now to cover off the undercut attempt from. Well, we're not certain it's an attempt, as we're not really certain if they're working together, but the undercut attempt from his teammate, or even other guys like Jim and Colin going on the medium tire, so they'll be looking to do this two-stop, as I don't believe you can.
The front four are actually coming in now, Jacob, from the softs. I was expecting potentially Reshka, who we know is really quite good at looking after his tyres, but doesn't want to be vulnerable to the undercut. He's going to pit along with them. We'll actually just jump on board with Keza, as he's now rounding the final corner just to see where he comes out in relation to his teammate. I'm sure he'll be looking to slot himself right in between the Ferrari and the McLaren, and hopefully continue to work out, as he's managed to actually breeze past those guys that have opted to pit. Yep, absolutely, and it's actually going to be that of Humberstone in the Williams that's going to be coming round onto the back of this pack, finding himself closing up to the back of Reshka again. So Reshka finding himself actually a little bit closer to the Ferrari than he was originally.
Yeah, Wojtek maybe have had a bit of a slow in-lap, as Reshka closed into Wojtek, and Wojtek lost up big time to Kesa with almost 2 seconds.
Bit further up the field, Aaron J still being nice and patient. Jacob, he's quite happy just tucked in behind Craig in the Red Bull now, but he might want to get a bit of a move on. Steel B's managed to close up just over half a second. Aaron's actually fallen a little bit further back from Craig than Steel B is
managing
from
to
him.
Get a bit of exits.
Craig, the only one in this battle of three that isn't going to have the assistance of DRS. The red light is flashing. He's going to be recharging, and there's not going to be much chance of fighting this one. If Aaron's close enough, he isn't this time. Aaron just stays behind. Might get a run now down onto the home straight. Craig's still recharging a bit of battery as he cut perfectly over the grass. Aaron actually running a little bit wider than you really should through final corner. Still opting to stay behind the Red Bull, but they have actually managed to drop Steel B out of that DRS range for the time being. Aaron find himself going a little bit sideways now through the turns 1 to 4 complex, so he's starting to struggle on those mediums this early on, Jacob?
Yeah, maybe after around 8 or 9 laps you'd start to feel the loss of grip on the medium tyres, and around, I believe it's lap 13, 14, you'd be pitting for the hard tyre, but maybe a bit early to start to struggle for grip already. But some of the guys qualified in the tyres, Craig and Beck, so they have a bit more saving on the tyres to look for compared to Aaron and Steele.
Yeah.
Steele actually having a great race now on the back of Aaron and Craig. Craig seems to be creating a bit of a train behind him with Aaron and Steele, and Adri Lockdock now gaining a couple of tenths each lap.
Yeah, it looks as if Steele is potentially struggling slightly through sectors. The end of sector 3 and the start of sector 1, but he's certainly clawing it back towards the end as Craig and Aaron are eventually now going to swap positions. Craig just being that tad later on the brakes, but Aaron managing to cover it off beautifully. Both of them get onto the power pretty well. It's inviting Steel B into that half-second window. Interesting situation for the smaller end of the points. Humberstone and Jim the Gunner. Jim on a fresh set of mediums surely must be just that little bit quicker than his teammate. You wonder if some team orders might come into play for Jim to try and close themselves up to the back of Reshka in that McLaren. They are only 1 second adrift, but could the quicker tyres help them get there?
Yeah, if the Williams will be looking to get the most amount of points available for this week, they'll have to. Humberstone will most likely have to let Jim by us. He'll be on the 2-stop, and Humberstone will probably know it, so he won't have to worry about him overtaking him later, as it will be the other way around again.
Now, we'll just have a little look at the interval data from the leader. A pit stop around China setting you back just over 17 seconds. Would actually see that we expected to do a bit better tonight. Beck 9000 in that Renault. To actually find himself, if he keeps pushing, find himself slotting in between the Ferraris and the McLaren of Reshka. So, be an interesting one to see when it comes to it.
Yeah, just going back to the Craig and Steele fight. Steele looking to struggle a lot out of the exit of turn 13, the long right, the sweeping right onto the straight, losing half a second to Craig again, as he just did last lap. So I'm not sure if he's running a bit more downforce and losing out on the straights, or what's going on. But still sticking with Craig, and we'll definitely be looking to overtake him in the next lap or so.
There is a battle a bit further back. Is Delaney going to be close enough to Simon Palmer to have a little look down into the hairpin? Simon Palmer covering off the inside. They're both nice and late on the brakes. Plenty of room left by the two of them. Simon Palmer's managed to hold on to the position for one more corner as they dive into the final corner, turn 16. Both getting a fantastic run, but it's Delaney that's going to have the access of DRS. Simon going to squeeze him out towards outside, and quite rightly so. Two of them still going side by side. It's great racing from these guys here on the hard tyres for 14th, but hopefully find them up a bit further later in the race. Simon still managing to hold on to that position for potentially another lap.
And now Delaney getting a great exit out of that corner, and now Simon still defending the inside line as they go side by side, and now Delaney seems to be ahead. But a great fight from the guys, clean and left straight for each other.
Yeah, it's great to see, especially on stream, Jacob. It's certainly a different man from the race band Simon Palmer that we've seen many moons ago. So,
he's actually loses the car.
I'm going to quickly change the camera and onto someone else. We didn't talk of Simon Palmer at all.
Definitely
there
not.
is no commentator's curse. So he has managed to avoid picking up damage, and Steel B and Craig are actually changing positions now as Craig's pulled into the pits. Lap 9, a very early one for Craig there. Usually expected to pit from round about lap 11 from those mediums, but obviously finding that a big undercut might do him a wonder of favours here. We'll see where he comes out in relation to the drivers around him. Does look as if he's going to slot in front of this Mercedes of Colin.
And our provisional leader Cursor now seems to be struggling a bit with Wojtek now being at the back of Aaron, but no, not Aaron, Gareth, sorry, but within 1.5 seconds he's managed to close in a second or so in 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, as we have seen so far this season, I'm sure the Ferraris will be looking to work together. Best thing Keza can do for his teammate is get Gareth out of that 1 second window, avoid giving him any DRS, and make the job for Wojtek as easy as possible. Only 3 laps on those hards as the gap now does just stay over a second. Great teamwork there from the Ferraris. Let's hope he can stay there by the detection zone, which is just between 11 and 12 as you hit the apex here on the right hand side. Does look like he's managed to do so. We'll stay on board with Wojtek to see if he can get the move done this lap, get back to working together properly with his teammate and the fellow Ferrari.
Having a look around the outside there, but Gareth positioning his car in just the right place and Wojtek not being able to go around the outside. Great defending from Gareth there on the old hot tyres compared to Wojtek's full laps, but Wojtek getting a good exit and ahead of Gareth into turn 1, up into 4th place.
Yeah, not quite close enough as our current championship leader pulls into the pits along with Steel B, put on a fresh set of hard tyres to take them to the end. Pretty drama-free race so far. We haven't seen many safety cars, if any safety cars, so far this week at Invictus Racing League. A couple of VSCs later on as the guys get down to the nitty-gritty of it, fighting for their final standings. But the Ferraris now back up into what will be provisional pole. Beck and Adrian Lockdock in the Reynolds, finding himself out the front. Simon Palmer has now retired from the session. It does look as if he's done so in the pits. So unfortunate to see from Simon. Really wanted to see him complete the race tonight, but obviously decided that enough was enough.
Yeah, Simon not having the best of nights, as we saw him defending quite well, but spinning just after in the dirty air, and that's pretty much race over.
His car's unfortunately made it back out onto track. I hope that doesn't flag up any safety cars. We do have yellow flag sector 1. Only car that is near him on track for the time being is Matty. Hopefully the marshals can get that cleared before the provisional drivers at front, as Beck's now peeled into the pits. Now it's going to be interesting, Jacob. I'm going to jump on board with the man in the Renault for his pit stop as he peels into the box just now. It's a fresh set of hards for Beck. It's a pretty quick stop. It's going to be interesting to see where he comes out. It's going to be behind the 2 Williams, and it's going to be pretty tight with Luke Bailey. Luke Bailey's also
maybe
managed
be
to
a
get
bit
through.
tight with Aaron J. He's a couple of seconds ahead of Aaron J.
So Aaron probably gaining a little bit of time. Looks like he's managed to actually pull about a second out of Beck there in the Renault, but Reshka now got a buffer of Gareth Hall on those hards in front of him, looking to close up to the back of the Ferraris. Reshka having a little bit of a race on his own so far this evening. He'll be looking to use that man in front to try and close up to the back a little bit. Gareth getting a little bit wide there through turns 8, 9 and 10.
Yes, Reshka will be looking to go ahead on the straight. He'll just be looking to get a good exit, and that will be an easy overtaking. But Gareth going a bit wide there, and already side by side before the DRS section.
Halo Cam got a good look into the cockpit, but not at the car in front there. Rishka's managed to get the move done before DRS even opens up, really. Be looking to extend that gap before Humblestone and Jim the Gunner can close up to the back of him. But see the two Williams drivers coming round the hairpin, be looking to work together just as the Ferraris are. Wojtek now just in that 1 second window as Rishka's 2.6 seconds further back, and Adrian Lockdock still pushes on yet to pit. I'm sure he'll hopefully come out roundabout. Looking at the timing sheets, probably beside Craig again, just in front.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, with the Williams guys having picked up a couple of positions from the guys pitting ahead of them, Jim Laguna seems to be struggling to get ahead of his teammate Humberstone, but Humber now inside the DRS of Gareth, and Gareth just outside the DRS of Reshka, so as we said, difficult to overtake with the DRS train and you being the guy at the back.
Well, this is your closest battle on screen at the minute, guys. Humblestone now looking to take his shot at Gareth. We'll have a little look at your current position changes. Ignore Lockdock and Gareth Hall, both yet to stop, but it's R&J that's having the best time of it by the looks of it. Up 5 positions and will look to be 7 once the two guys yet to stop make their way into the pits. But it's Matty that's came off worse, unfortunately. Down in 16th position in his McLaren, whereas teammates effectively thriving up there in 4th. Net P3 once Andrew Lockdock peels into the pits. Keza doing a great job as well, finding himself in front of his teammate Wojtek, and the two Ferraris just in a little world of their own.
Yeah, seems to be on a very good pace tonight, and seems to be working together and towing each other, and one of them saving ERS and the other one using and then switching positions maybe. But yeah, looks to be having a great race, both of them tonight, as that's pretty much what we've missed, and I don't want to jinx anything, so I'll stop talking about the Ferrari guys for now.
Humberstone's managed to get the job done on Gareth. Jim the Gunner will be next on a fresher set of mediums. Do well to take them all the way to the end. Mediums realistically going to be able to last a maximum of 17, so if he is going to do it, it'll be pretty touch and go.
Yeah, they'll be square at the end of the race if he manages to keep going.
Reshka unfortunately falling a bit further back than I'm sure he would like from the Ferraris, and again Humberstone, after clearing Gareth on the older tyres, has wasted no time. He's actually up within DRS of Reshka, so he's going to have his hands full for the rest of the race. But we do know Reshka loves a bit of a battle. Luke Bailey probably a bit further away from him tonight than he has been in previous weeks, so I'm sure he'll be looking to close up a little bit. It's a bit further back. Jim the Gunner's now getting the move done on Gareth. Gareth, not much life left by the looks of it on these tyres, with the guys on the fresher ones coming through. Only be a few more laps before I'm sure Gareth
as the Ferrari guys are fighting for provisional P1, fighting each other, and Wojtek actually squeezing Kesa a bit there, and Kesa now going ahead again after Wojtek just overtook him on the straight.
I think best thing they can do is work together and depleting those energy deployment systems. Just making sure that they secure a 1-2 and close that gap to AlphaTauri, who currently aren't having the greatest of races, with Nick J. Thompson again getting caught up a little bit early on, finding himself down in 15th, and your current championship leader again a bit further back than we've seen him so far this season. He did say that the first 3 tracks were those that he favoured and put a good bit of work into, but China wasn't one that he was really looking forward to. Said so in the podium interviews last week, but I'm sure that shouldn't faze him, and he'll be looking to get as many podiums as he possibly can, as Kez is actually on the brink of caution for picking up corner cutting warnings. But again, two Ferraris now actually closing up to the back of Adrian Lockdock. Gaps to 2.3 seconds now. We're on a great rear wing shot as Kez and Wojtek are going to have a little go at it again. Wojtek moves back up. Yellow flag, sector 3. Is it
as
the
Beck
Renault
has retired
Beck?
on the new hard tyres.
Safety car, full blown safety car. So
he lost it out of turn 13.
what's interesting is Lockdock has timed this absolutely perfectly, and I'm very surprised to see Keza continue on those hard tyres.
Has he got a drive-through?
Keza?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, drive-through. He got a drive-through penalty.
Pretty much every car coming into the box now, apart from the Renault that is currently out in front, worked to a treat for Lockdock. So ignore me that we were talking about the position changes. We're going to have a look at it now. If I work it out, there we go. Lockdock up 15 positions into second place. Gareth Hall is also going to be a winner in this situation, finding himself in 6th, gambling on that safety car as we haven't seen many this week. Beck 9000 doing absolute wonders for his teammate of Lockdock, finding himself in P2, definitely looking like he could potentially have the pace to challenge these boys in the Ferraris.
Yeah, he'll be P1 whenever Kesa serves his drive-through, as he can't do that under the safety car. So Kesa will lose out massively, unfortunately for the Ferrari, but still one Ferrari in the race for victory. But he'll have to get ahead of Lockdock, and we know Lockdock is very fast when he manages to put his laps and races together.
So is that confirmed that is in fact the drive-throughs? I didn't see anything flag up on my screen, but that's a sore one.
Yeah, I believe that's the second or third time even for the Ferrari guys to get a drive-through. Maybe they are not looking where they need to whenever the safety car appears, or virtual safety cars. But very unfortunate for Kesa, who was having a great race and a great battle with his teammate.
Might be a lap or two before the remainder of the grid catch up to that of the lead pack. Matty 23 seconds further adrift from Nick J. Thompson. Nick J. Thompson 13 back from Delaney, and Delaney 10 seconds back from Colin. Only got Matty now just into the centre of sector 2. But again, it'll be a little bit easier for them to actually keep a bit of temperature in their tyres, as weather, like we said, sun is splitting the trees here in Shanghai.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, we have obviously Kesa on the hard tyres, who is yet to pit, and our round 1 winner, Steel B, on the soft tyres. He'll have to push them 10 laps, which seems to be pushing the limit, but with the safety car being out, that will obviously that will probably, make it a bit easier for the soft tyres, but 10 laps seems to be a bit much for the soft tyres.
Yeah, it does seem to be a bit of a gamble, absolutely. Even on low fuel, to be absolutely honest, Jacob, if you take them anywhere near lap 8, you're actually risking puncture. So by the time that we do resume racing, it's probably going to be 8 or 9 laps to go. But bear in mind, although it isn't much, you still have had a couple of laps under safety cars. So if it does take them to the end, it's actually going to be 10 laps that are reading on those soft tyres, which I think would be an incredible feat. But I think you'd find that there would be less than 4 of them on that car if he does manage to cross a line on them.
Yeah, he'll definitely be hoping for the safety car to go on just another lap to just relieve the tiny bit of pressure on those soft, but yeah, pushing the limit, and would be very impressive for him to go to the end on those softs.
I'm looking forward to this one, Jacob, and I'm certainly rubbing my hands, as I'm sure the viewers are. It's starting to spice up. Lockdock been showing great pace since the start of the season, just hasn't managed to pull it through in quali and then finalise it in the race. Finds himself between two guys that have found themselves on pretty good form for one lap pace, between Keza and Wojtek in the Ferrari. I'm sure Reschke will have his hands full with Humberstone, and I can imagine that Gareth, after a weird strategy in qualifying, starting on those hards, finding himself up in 6th, and again getting past lap after lap, being on the older tyres, finds himself on the same rubber as everybody around him, and I'm sure he'll only be looking to go forward.
Yeah, definitely. Gareth and Lockdock, the big winners of the safety car, gaining almost 10 positions, and with the time of their pit stop, they didn't really lose time. They gained time, actually a lot of time, and obviously a lot of positions. And now Lockdock in P2 and Gareth in P6. So big winners from the safety car.
We've actually got Arbiz in the comments, Jacob, a former competitor of ourselves in PS4 F2. He's shouting, "Come on, Keza." I don't know if you've just joined us, Arbiz, but I do think that Keza's actually potentially picked up a drive-through penalty, so that's certainly not going to serve him well, especially under safety car restart. He's going to find himself all the way at the back if it is in fact true and Codemasters aren't playing us, but thank you for the kind words
We never
on
know.
commentary as well.
Yeah, even if the drive-through isn't true, he's still on old hard compared to everyone else on mediums and still on soft, so will definitely be a fight to the end.
This is actually showing us having a couple of drivers changing positions in mid-pack. Luke Bailey jumping to the back briefly there as the full pack is now caught up. I'm sure we'll be looking to get under racing this lap, as we do have confirmation safety car is in this lap. Keza will look to back the pack up. If the drive-through is in fact correct, he'll be looking to do everything he possibly can to make sure that his teammate Wojtek gets that jump on Adri Lockdock in the Renault. Need to slow down a bit more to make sure that the safety car gets away, but Steel B, he has been showing pretty good pace so far, Jacob. He might come through the pack like an absolute train, but I can imagine it'll be short-lived.
Yeah, he'll be looking to get loads of overtake in the first 3 or 4 laps, and then to save the tyres for the rest of the race, and then grabbing a couple of points, as that's definitely needed for Steel B.
Safety car is gone. We'll have a look to see when Keza decides to boot the loud pedal. He's done it before he even gets to the corner. It's a decent jump. Doesn't look as if Wojtek's managed to get off quite as well as what I'm sure Keza would have hoped, but 7/10's already separating him. What a jump. Nick J. Thompson picks up a 3-second time penalty. Unfortunately, it's only gone from bad to worse for the man in the AlphaTauri, but does seem as if we have a slight technical issue. Luke Bailey actually showing a lap down as he's currently battling with R&J behind and Gareth Hall in front.
Yeah, seems to be everyone getting away quite cleanly, and Steel B not managing to overtake anyone on the start-finish straight, but all over the back of Jim and Craig at the moment.
Everybody pretty close together for the time being. Reshka managing to hold on to the coattails of Wojtek pretty well, despite the Ferraris managing to pull a bit of a gap on the man in the McLaren, but Humblestone doing his best to try and hold on as well, but Reshka might have found a bit of pace on the tyres that he hasn't managed to touch just yet. Potentially done a lot of practice on these mediums, as you would expect the majority of drivers have done, but soft to hard's been the original strategy. Didn't quite work out for him.
No, as it definitely surprised most drivers with the safety car, and it will be interesting to see if Keza has actually got the drive-through, as that was just a glitch. He keeps going.
Well, you do have 3 laps to serve it. I'm wondering if he's just looking to extend that gap to Adri Lockdock and the rest of the pack before he comes in and finds himself away at the back, as we've actually got Nick J. Thompson peeling into the pits now. And 5 seconds speeding in the pit lane. It wouldn't surprise me to see that name grey out. Really not enjoying himself tonight.
No, Nick's struggling again, losing positions on the first few laps, and then he kind of looks like his race got resurrected with the safety car, but yet again he finds himself at the very back.
It does look as if the technical issues might actually be a connection issue for Luke Bailey in the Alfa Romeo, skipping about a little bit on the track unfortunately, but holding on to 7th place nonetheless, chasing down Gareth. Only half a second separates the majority of the pack, as Reshka still continuing to close right up to the back of Wojtek. Not going to be long before he's got DRS assisting him, and it's Craig's retired from the race now. Virtual safety car. Unfortunately,
Looked to be with an incident with Steel B not managing to catch what happened, but saw them on the onboard going side by side.
Now, if only that happened a little bit later, it would have certainly aided to Keza for serving that drive-through penalties that can be served under VSC, but everybody else will need to be careful that they don't pick up a drive-through penalty, as we have seen so far a few times this week. I actually got one myself on Monday, lap 27 towards the end of the race, despite being over a second green in the
as
Delta.
Kesa goes into the pits.
That's it, time to go. And if it is in fact a drive-through, Jacob, he's not even going to be able to change tyres, so more than likely...
It's not a drive-through, he's pitting.
Right. It's surprising, very surprising. He'll be kicking himself if he needs to serve a drive-through and pit. As there we go, Steel B has in fact picked up a drive-through penalty for speeding under virtual safety car. Back under racing, Agile Lockdock inherits the lead, but Wojtek hot on his heels. Already thinking about having a little look as Reska's closing right up to the back of the Ferrari, and it invites Humberstone in after the McLaren gets a little bit of a lock-up. Nick J. Thompson speeding in the pit lane once again. It's not great.
No, definitely not. There's a day to forget, a race to forget for Nick Siders. A couple of them have been so far, but looking at the leaders, we have a 9-car train at the moment with the top 8 being within half a second of each other, almost everyone. So Aaron J now back of Luke Bailey now look to be getting a good exit, but will be struggling with the DRS train, but definitely closer to Luke than Luke is to Gareth.
Reska's having a look at Wojtek already now for P2. Wojtek not going to manage to defend the inside as Reska makes a move. Not getting on the power quite as well as the Ferrari. Wojtek's managed to hold on to it for one more corner. Arbiz has already changed his mind. Now Kez is out of the picture. He's rooting for Reska, and Agile Lockdock.
Our race leader pits.
Probably a drive-through penalty that might not have flagged up because other drivers have. If you could confirm for me, Jacob, if he is driving right through.
Yep, that's a drive-through penalty as well for Steel B
follows closely.
And Kesa, I believe.
Keza now serving that drive-through after pitting onto a set of softs. So it is another Ferrari that has inherited first position. Now that he doesn't have Agile Lockdock in front of him, I'm sure that he will be looking to get a move on as Reska just over half a second back. Humberstone still holding on as well, and Agile Lockdock, I can only imagine the words that are being said under that crash helmet.
Yeah, very unfortunate to get the drive-through, but it is down to yourself to look at what the delta is telling you if you're negative or positive. So, but very unfortunate, yeah.
If you could confirm the penalty situation for us, Jacob, just in the build-up towards the end of the race, and see if we could predict. Oh, I'm not going to talk anymore. It's the commentator's curse. It's a 3-second time penalty for your race leader, Wojtek. China not tending to be a track that you actually Reska making a move. He's thinking about it up the inside of the hairpin, thinks better of it.
And that would be very crucial for our race leader having that time penalty, as it only looks to be Aaron J in the top 6 having other penalties.
And look at your current championship leader, ladies and gentlemen. Aaron J, 5th position. Gareth Hall just in front. Two guys that found themselves all the way at the back now finding themselves all the way at the front.
Goes on the inside of Wojtek there for the lead.
And I've missed it.
Wojtek seems to be out of shape there. Seems to be out of shape there, and Reska getting the better of him and getting a good exit. Already half a second between them, and Reska now will be looking to pull a gap.
Not that I'm biased, not that I want to jinx him. Last season, Reska being my teammate in the Mercedes for PS4 F2, wouldn't mind interviewing him on the podium as he's actually pushed Wojtek back. Wojtek's actually got wing damage, Jacob. Front left end plate is missing. It's putting him under severe pressure to the Williams behind. Humberstone all over the back of that gearbox.
Yeah, that will be very, very hard for Wojtek to defend that position, as he also has a 3-second penalty as Jim Laguna picks it up again for that, push him out of contention for the podium at the moment. But yeah, Reska now having to hold on for the P2 and will have to defend for the rest of the race.
Wojtek going to be vulnerable, no DRS to assist. Humberstone pulls to the inside. Ferrari's not going to be able to do much, as again it wouldn't surprise me if we actually see him peeling into the pits. He's getting a right old squeeze there from Humberstone, and that's immediately
Gareth around.
Gareth's already around. He might have got caught up in that a little bit as Wojtek's decided to continue on despite having end plate damage. We've only got 3 laps to go. He's trying to brave it out to the end, but it wouldn't surprise me if we just see him fall backwards, and we've absolutely done it, Jacob. We've cursed the Ferraris yet again. They are getting absolutely no screen time next week, because I'm not dealing with the stick in the chat.
No, that's unfortunate for the guys in the commentator curse coming into play yet again, as we've seen in almost every single race from now on. There's something going on there with with the Ferrari guys, but yet again struggling in the race with a couple of mistakes and penalties and whatnot.
Wojtek doing well to hold drivers behind him as much as he can. It's allowed Reshka to get up the road a little bit. 1.5 seconds was the gap, but Humberstone, he can smell victory. He's chasing him down as the gap opens back up slightly as they go into the last corner before the final DRS straight. It's 1.2 second adrift. Humberstone isn't going to have that assistance just yet. Reshka managing to hold on to the lead just for that little bit longer, but it's R&J that's lined up to come through Wojtek next. Wojtek again with front end plate damage. AlphaTauri breezes past on the inside. There's not much Wojtek's going to be able to do, and it's actually Jim the Gunner a bit further back that was having a look potentially at Luke Bailey, but Luke Bailey lining up next in the baby Ferrari.
Yeah, RJ will be looking to get a move on, as he has 6 seconds worth of penalties, so that will put him almost out of the point at the moment. And Luke, they're having a look at Wojtek with a damaged front wing now, an easy victim and offer for overtaking her at any point, and Luke now not really getting the best of exit, and Jim the Gooner will be looking to capitalize on the exit of Luke there.
A very difficult job for Wojtek to take this car to the end, especially with all these swooping left and right turns, not having the downforce that you really need to be able to fight for position. Has been shown us that he has had excellent pace, so it's probably given him that little bit of a handicap to bring the rest of the field in. I think considering he's in 4th, he's doing not too bad, but Keza will be kicking himself down there in 13th, and Agile Lockdock's a further 5.5 seconds back from Gareth, who actually found himself facing the wrong way. Agile Lockdock's had a moment, he's down again. He's actually found himself over in the grass, and I don't know if he's going to manage to get himself going just yet. Gap still just over a second now from a leader. Steel B picking up a 3-second time penalty after 7 that drive through. He has done 8 laps on those softs. It'd be interesting to see the state of them come the end of the race, if he is going to go the whole way, Jacob. If you want to keep an eye on it, there's nobody really near him at the minute to get involved in some action, but Humberstone's now found himself, as they're about to cross the line for the penultimate lap, he's within DRS range. 7-10 separate the two, and it does look as if they are going to be dueling it out to the end on their own. R&J 2.3 seconds further back. We'll keep an eye on the gap as our championship leader tries to close up. So he's finding himself in a little bit of no man's land. Wojtek 1.5 seconds further and being a bit of a bus for those drivers behind. Jim the Gooner next one lining up in the Williams. Luke Bailey following through. Nick J Thompson 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. You can only imagine what he's had to do to get there.
He must be close to a disqualification at this point, with all the time penalties and whatnot.
Jim the Gooner actually falling back a little bit from the man in the Ferrari, and it's Luke Bailey that's going to be looking to make the next charge. So I don't know if Jim's just holding back a bit to get himself out of that dirty air so he can make a charge onto the DRS straight. He's managed to close back up in no time at all. 5-10, Agile Lockdock now peeling into the pits. Not happy with his own performance tonight, unfortunately, retiring from the session. Both Reynolds failing to complete another race. Not great to see.
No, definitely not. And now Jim the Gooner finding himself very close between Luke DeLange and Wojtek now. But Wojtek seems to be having great pace on the straights, so the drivers behind finding it difficult to overtake, even with his wing damage.
Drivers all looking to be suffering severely from energy management. Everybody depleting to almost less than 10% with a quick onboard look into each cockpit. Wojtek, Jim Naguna and Luke Bailey all with their red lights flashing, and Delaney just behind also doing the same. It's going to come down to the ability in the corners, guys, other than the Ferrari, because with no end plate he doesn't have that either. Wojtek doing extremely well to hold on to this position.
Yeah, definitely. He will, unfortunately, with his 30-second time penalty, he will fall back a bit, but definitely impressive how he's managing to keep all the guys behind.
And we can't not do it, Jacob, as our race leader and chaser come round to the final sector of the final lap. 28 laps we've had here at Shanghai, and it all comes down to this final drag race on the home straight. The back straight. Let's see who can get the cleaner of exits as we'll jump on board with T-Cam. Being very, very careful on that throttle. Reska looks as if he's managed to get through alright. Humblestone's done equally as well, but with 8/10ths, even though he'll have DRS, Reska does have a bit more energy deployment. Humblestone's not going to be close enough. Again, he certainly looked as if he had thought about potentially doing that big dive bomb. Nick J. Thompson deciding to peel into the pits, and we're on board with your race leader Reska and his McLaren round in the final corner. Not a bad drive from him. He's going to take the victory with Humberstone just behind. Your championship leader, who's going to stay your championship leader, loses out severely on penalties. It's Luke Bailey that's
Bailey
actually
goes P3.
Everybody jumping all over the place. So I think Luke Bailey actually jumped up from 6th position there to 3rd positions. Absolutely flew up to the podium positions. Wow.
Yeah, what a race.
That's it's a very, very interesting one. So, absolutely fantastic drive from Reska. Definitely showing us that he had the pace on those medium tyres to cement himself victory for the evening. And here are the podium celebrations for you guys. It's the bright blue suit that stands on the top step. A Williams finding itself in unfamiliar territory up there on the pedestal and picking up a trophy. Not a bad drive from Humberstone either, and Luke Bailey will round out your top 3. Everybody seems pretty happy that Reska's managed to cement victory here tonight in the comments. Very unlucky, and commiserations to Kesa for picking up that drive through and needing to pit again, unfortunately. But here are your race classifications in just a wee second, guys. Taking a bit longer than it usually does, but we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, as we're just waiting for the guys to join the podium interviews.
So it doesn't actually look as if we're going to get the final race standings. I don't know what's happened with the leaderboards, but it unfortunately hasn't showed me the race classifications. So we just wait for the drivers to join the podium interviews, guys. They're just slotting into the commentary box as we speak, so if you bear with us a couple of minutes until we get all 3 of them in. So we do have our race winner and 3rd place sitter. We're just waiting for Humberstone to join. Now, just while we wait for it, guys, we'll get underway. We'll talk to our race leader just before, our race winner, just before we do so. If you wouldn't mind double checking that your voice is set to allow to be shared. If you don't know how to do it, please click the share button on your controller, or if you'll go down to audio sharing settings, just make sure that your audio is set to always allow. Just give me an OK once you've managed to do so. Okay, you good to go, Reshka?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I'm going to start off by saying a big congratulations. I was obviously texting you before you took to the track tonight. I know that you've done plenty of preparation for this one, particularly on the mediums. Now, we did notice that pace maybe wasn't quite there as it was with the Ferraris on the softs and the hards, but you certainly came into your own once those guys got out the way on that final stint. You did absolutely fantastic to convert that win. Starting in third, was that the original plan going into the race this evening? The soft hard?
Yeah, 100% the way. That's why my pace was a bit slower in those first few stints, because I just wanted to make sure, look after my tyres, get them as far as I can do until I really need to push as such. That way my tyres can be in as good nick as possible at the end. So the safety car kind of caught me out a little bit, because it was so close to us coming to pit. It was a mad dash to jump in, but no, I didn't expect it. I was just hoping for a good podium from where I started. So.
Yeah, and Reshka, as you had a bit of overtaking after your first stint on the medium tyres at the very end there. You were side by side with Wojtek, I believe, into turn 1 there. We saw Wojtek picking up some damage. What happened there exactly?
I don't know. I don't know whether I from my point of view, I don't think I touched him into that corner. So I did notice that Wojtek, he probably isn't going to like me saying this, but behind the safety car, he may have slightly ran into the back of the Renault at one point. I did notice that, but that might have been where he picked up that damage, perhaps. But I thought, at least from the overtaking to turn 1, I didn't think there was any contact between us. So.
Yeah, otherwise, well done on your victory today and your first win for this season, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Congratulations.
Yeah, super. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, congratulations again, Reshka. Again, hope to see you on the podium interviews in the very, very near future. Again, it's not been the strongest the race finishes for you so far this season. I think your best where you picked up 4 points back in Austria, but I do know that moving forward in the calendar, especially through China, obviously cementing your win here tonight. We've got Abu Dhabi next week and Monaco the following, 2 tracks that I know for a fact that you excel at. What's your expectations going into the next 2 weeks?
Oh, I'm not letting my expectations get too high or anything. I mean, last season they were the 2 tracks I got my best 2 results at, so of course I'm excited, but I'm not going to get too carried away yet. It's just the one win. Let's take it steady.
Well, congratulations again, buddy. You definitely deserve it. That's you up to 20 points in the championship and pulling yourself into contention. Especially, well, I know Aaron fell down tonight after penalties and he was 20 points adrift, but it certainly puts you in the mix for fighting for second for the time being. But still plenty of the season left to go. Congratulations again and well done on the race victory tonight.
Cool, thank you very much.
Attention turns to Luke Bailey. Humberstone has unfortunately not been able to join the commentary box just yet. Luke, have you managed to set your voice to allow to be shared for me?
Yep, have mate.
Perfect. Haven't managed to speak to you for a wee while, buddy. You did very well tonight in qualifying as well. Starting in 6th, managing to convert that into a podium. It came down to penalties at the end. To be fair, you had a pretty clean race. Who was your best battles with tonight, you think?
Yeah, it was quite a quiet first stint. I was just on my own, driving round and round, and then that safety car kind of just shook things up a little bit. I had quite a good battle with Aaron at the end. Just like to say I apologise if I touched anyone. I think I'm having a couple of internet issues. I could tell there was something going off, so I'd just like to apologise. Hopefully I can get that sorted. But yeah, and kind of knew I was there for the third with the penalties. So yeah, quite happy with that.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, look, your penalties, you didn't have any. Was that something going into China you were trying to capitalize on with other drivers, maybe picking up a penalty here and there?
Yeah, I've kind of just set that throughout the whole season. I just want to have a nice clean race, no penalties, and I'd be more happy with no penalties and see where it gets me.
Otherwise, well done for your first podium for this season, and hopefully many more to come.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, look, you were competing for your Drivers' Championship last season, and you actually became the Constructors' Champion as well in PS4 F3. Now, you've picked up points every race so far this season. This is the first podium. What are your expectations for the remainder of the season? Where do you want to be?
I think I was coming to this season hoping if I could anywhere in the top 5 every race, just get consistent points. Obviously I've gone no traction control and no ABS, so a bit of a learning curve, and yeah, just be happy with good points every good clean races, and yeah, it's good to be up there.
Well, congratulations again, buddy, and again to you, Reska, if you're still here. We're going to wrap up the stream now. You're more than welcome to stay around, or you can shoot off. It's entirely up to you. You anything to add, Jacob, before we conclude?
Just excited for the race tonight and looking for a new race winner, and Humberstone and Luke for the first time on the podium this week. So a bit of a mix-up from what we're used to seeing with Aaron finishing on the podium each and every race, but excited, and heading to Abu Dhabi next week, as you mentioned earlier, will be interesting to, as we heard Reshka now said that was one of his better tracks, so interesting if he'll be trying to defend his P1 for the next race.
Yeah, I'm sure it was actually a podium last season for Reshka, and it was in PS4 F2 that he managed to convert that. So, like we said though, guys, the week's racing is not finished. Tune in tomorrow from 8 PM on the YouTube channel for the Invictus Racing League Performance League, hosted by Malk and Tim. And then, yep, as we've said, next week we head to the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi. So be sure to catch the action from Sunday, 9 PM on twitch.tv/Invictus Racing League. So that's Xbox F1 on the Sunday, hosted by Dan and Luke. And you've got the same time and the same place for Xbox F2, but that's on Tuesdays, hosted by Thomas. Our PlayStation tiers run from Monday through Thursdays, all starting at 8 o'clock here on the YouTube channel. PS4 F1 on the Mondays with Gareth and Sab, PS4 F2 on Tuesdays with Harry, and our new commentator that just started this week. Go check out the stream for F2 with Scott. PS4 F3 on Wednesdays, obviously with yours truly, myself and Jacob. PS4 F4 runs parallel with that on the Wednesdays with Jake. And PS4 Performance, as we said, will be back on Thursdays again with Malk and Tim. Newest addition to IRL is the new platform. We're on PC with an F1 tier on Wednesdays as well at 8 o'clock, and we've got a brand new commentator just starting tonight actually. His debut commentary in China with Jack. So thanks very much for watching. That's us for the night, guys, and we'll see you next week.